just because you have a group, I have a group, but that's from smiling. It's always been there when I was 16. It's not changing much. Depending on the dryness, it does, go deeper. But that's not aging, that's something else. But some people have, it just starts sinking in, and the width sort of widens out. Okay, some people, these are eyebrows, but they're muscles. And thanks to age, stress, gravity, not necessarily in that order, they fall down. And you see these horizontal lines underneath. Also, eyes look smaller as you grow older sometimes. You say, oh, her eyes are, they're becoming smaller and, whatever. So it's because of all these factors. Also, lips atrophy. Lips start thinning down. It happens more in the European culture, not so much for us. We have atrophy here. You have a lot of women, all of a sudden, this particular area has just boomed down, yeah. The jawline, yeah. No, but the rest of it would be nice and tight, but they just have this area which just sort of falls down. So that's, these are, so look, the basic part of the face, yes, can be taken care of, but when you have these particular spot areas, you really need to figure out how to work on this. Also, like, when you go to the gym, the trainer gives you a set of exercises for a week, and then he switches and changes, because then you come to that plateau and he wants to change again. Similarly, it has to be worked on this, because that's how recently I had somebody, she was really bad, it was quite interesting, this lady, and we've actually sculpted her whole face, like plastic surgeon. It was so much fun, but it took a year. And she was diligent, she had to see me initially X number of times, and she would travel and I'd tell her what to do. But it was great. So, everything can be done, but you need to just work on that. And now, before we sort of move into the other art, we're going to look at our friend here, okay? So, again, we like to see the ceiling, and maybe next time Pullman can make it decorated for us. Yeah, they didn't know we were coming, so it's okay. So now, stretch your neck, okay? And take your jaw out. And smile. And long deep breathing and smiling are essential ingredients of Ayana Face Yoga. That's it. So, and relax. So what you do is you smile with your lower jaw, right? Smile with your lower jaw. So we're gonna do it right. Lower jaw, put it out. We make funny faces at your brother. No brother? Okay. Backward. Okay? Stretch and look. And breathe. And breathe. And breathe. And breathe. And relax for a second. Just close your eyes. Flow in. Face yoga is actually really cool. Like I said, it's a program, but because it's not linked to the stomach, it doesn't matter whether you eat food, you don't eat food at 5 minutes prior, 10 minutes prior, during the session. Also, it's not very strict. It's not that, you have to complete the entire circuit. You have to finish, the first 5 back-to-back or repetitions or something of your, exercise mode. You can do one in the shower, 1/2, plug in the coffee maker, do the second exercise. It all works. But yes, you have to be a little disciplined, that's all. Determination, discipline, positive attitude, that's all you need. So this is how typically we flow in. Now, yoga, the most famous yoga position is the lion. Yeah? But again, we're going to check out the ceiling when we do this, okay? So
there's no problem for the everyday exercise.
Even if there is, how does it matter? You're looking beautiful. Initially, I used to have the signals, I forget.
No, I turned the other side and jogged.
Okay, so anyway, so basically.
But one thing I want to tell you with this Simha thing,
I made my husband talk again. He had a
I heard you in the other session. I heard you. We're going to talk on this after. But
Yeah,
I
I
need
said
to.
the others.
No, that's really good. See, Siha is one. So you're doing this area. Okay, this is regular yoga. But when you club it in with some muscles which are from this particular area, you're getting a double duty factor also. Look, what is yoga? Dynamic muscle resistance, right? One muscle against the other. Okay? We call it face yoga because it sounds so nice and yeah, we are part of Ashtanga yoga. And it goes into somebody's mind. But at the end of the day, it's dynamic muscle resistance. One muscle against the other. Now you're putting one muscle down. Where's the other guy? The chap who goes upstairs. That's what I need for my modules, my program. And so you have this fusion of both of them. And when you work on this area, the endocrine gland, for me, this is important. He's your third eye, yes, but he is the guy who decides what needs to be done for the rest of your body. So I want him in A1 condition. At my level, this is the only way I can do it. Okay, you've got neurosurgeons, all that comes into play later. But if you can do it at this level, why not? Doesn't really help much. Because you're doing 2 exercises in one shot.
How do you know it's a him and not a her?
Point taken, man. Point. She says, how do you know it's a him and not a her? Point taken. This we're going to keep a note on. I think we just call her because she's more powerful. Okay, so can we do this? So basically, we'll be looking at the ceiling. We all know how to look at the ceiling. We've sort of gauged it by now. And take deep breathe in first straight. Everybody look at me.
Without moving the head.
Without moving the head. Yes. Breathe in. 1, 2. And look up. And release. And exhale. And just sit still for a second. Close your eyes. I love the part about closing your eyes. You know why? You can actually feel yourself coming down to a level. Especially when this is not a hardcore workshop. But when you've done it, you've exercised it so much. You actually feel yourself floating down. And close. Okay? And now, open your eyes. Just take your fingers. Okay? Before that, sorry. This is coming in all. Can you just rub our hands 15 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15. Once you've done 15, stop. And done. Then take your index fingers and rub them around the eyes, the eyebrows. See, 15 times. Clockwise.
Do you put pressure or just
Put pressure as much as you can manage. Common sense, that much. Feel good? That's the pressure we want. Take your fingers around, sir. Here. Yeah? 15. Then go anti-clockwise. 15. 15. Just feel it. Yeah. Close your eyes and do that. Along your eyebrow, the heart, the bone on your cheeks. 15 clockwise and 15 anti-clockwise. Okay. Anti-clockwise. Sorry?
Anti-clockwise is difficult at the eyebrows.
It is actually, by now you started sweating also. Okay?
So
Once
with
you
lightly
get
or with pressure?
with pressure as much as you can manage.
Yes, yes.
And sit still. Can you
So
just
we
close
can
your
do
eyes?
both hands together?
Yes, please. Ideally. Less time consuming.
Yeah.
And just sit still. Breathe in and out. And in and out. And open your eyes. So, Ayana Face Yoga can add ears to your life, a life to your ears, and just takes a few minutes. Initially, it may take you a little longer because you've got the hang of, you've walked through some exercises. I told you there's so many more. All of us don't need it. That's why we haven't gone into the deeper ones, maybe the advanced ones. But this gets you feeling. Can we just all just shut our eyes? I just feel like doing this. Something. Now imagine a great white light at the top of your head. Top of your head is just heavy but relaxed. You feel the light at the top of your head moving into your forehead. Your beautiful forehead. All of you are so lovely people. Feel the energy, the light swirling around your face into your eyebrows, around your eyes, round. It's like cotton wool filled with cold, cool moisture. Round, coming down, floating around your cheeks, your nose. The energy flows down into your lips, around your jawline, around your chin, into your neck. Energy coming in and excess going out. In and out. And in and out. You can actually feel the 57 muscles talking to you. And your endocrine gland chipping in a word or two. And out. And in. And out. And just sit still for a second or two. Breathing in. And out. And then. And out. And sit still. Take a deep breath and then join us in the room when you're ready.
We start from the first and come down.
And welcome back. Thank you for joining us. We have a small group and it's full of women. And it's so nice to see gentlemen, like highlights of our little group at times. Otherwise, it's nicer. I think we can take one or max two sentences because we're extended timeline. And I will try and answer them. I don't know exhaustive.
This is regarding diet. Do you think diet plays a part in sagging of the face?
See, when you diet as in what goes in, right? Or you're talking about dieting.
No, diet.
Diet.
What you eat.
Diet is absolutely, because look, the texture of your skin, the build-up of your muscle, it's all on the food, right? Your muscle needs to be built up, and what you eat it works on the. I mean, look, I'm not a dietitian, but this is what my associate who was part of the team. She says that if you don't have kind of proteins and nutrients, then you're going to have muscles which are not as per the fibers that is required. Similarly, if you're not eating, like they say almonds, they're saying, have 1 walnut, 4 raisins, because okay, so the skin texture requires this oil. There's a certain amount of oil that you need. You're going to have dry stuff,
Actually,
skin.
another thing I'd like to add, someone told me that what you eat, you should even apply to the face.
I had
like
heard that.
avocado or curd. Does that help to firm up the skin?
Okay, now look, it helps, I guess, in the topical now. Here's the problem. When I'm working with the dietitians and I'm working with the derma, who topically applying, they say, look, you need it because you need to moisturize your skin and it needs to be great.